How are you guys? Been distracted again down at the beach. Absolutely beautiful. No wind whatsoever, no waves as you can see. It's just really calm. Go in here, we'll make some pancakes, have some breakfast, head back to the garage and do some more work. So we will get some work done today at some point. So here we are, beach is out there. We're just in our little camp setup, making some pancakes. How you going, guys? I'm back. So welcome back to the build log. I'm Mike, this is Unleashed, and we are working on so many fiddly bits and pieces that it's taken a while to get to this. So I haven't done an update for a while because purely because there hasn't been much to update with. You do a lot of work and very little to see, so there's a lot of fiddly stuff. So hopefully by the end of today we should have the interior done, ready for the seats to be mounted in. So as you can see, it's a bit of a mess at the moment, but I've been putting this whole subfloor in. I've done all the front section, working on the seat bases here, so the seats actually sit through here. There's a console in through the center. I've also been working on the controls, so we'll get to that as well. And yeah, so let's get to it. By the end of today, hopefully we'll have what I'm working on at the moment is the rear mixer. So this is the rear mixer tube for the flaperons. So I've got these here nylon pads here. So these brackets will rivet to the side of the hull, both sides, and on here we'll have the aileron or flaperon bell cranks, which will then go up to push rods. So they'll go in the back of the hull here, just in through there. Push rods will go up to the flaperons. So I've decided I'm going with full span flaperons instead of ailerons and flaps, just to keep things simple. I can keep the mechanism simple. This is what I've got here. So it's going to be, the flaps part of it is driven by this electric actuator. It's just a small 50mm movement, or 2-inch forward and back. These are the bell cranks. So how this is going to work, obviously the hardware I've got on here is just temporary. I'll be using castellated nuts here. Flaperon mixer bell cranks. I'll have a push rod that's moving it down here. So that'll be moved down there, it'll be greased up. Alright, so I've got it sitting in there now, the mixer with the push rod connected and the torque tube. So this is it, this here is a torque tube, runs all the way down, runs down to there, and then connects to the center torque tube, which is on the center of the center line of the aircraft, and there'll be a center control stick down this end here, just down there. So basically that's how it's going to work. There's these sleeves in here which will actually be in there and bolted, so that
stops any play back and forward. Same as this one here. And as you can see, this here, I've still got to get some more washers and nuts and bolts, but that's basically the aileron or flapper-on bell crank. And if I move it, if I twist the torque tube, you can just hear it hitting the stops at the moment. So this will be wire tied here, and it's basically just to join the two together, and to adjust the up and down movement. So this goes up and down, so that's actually in the up position at the moment. With this actuator, it'll pull back 2 inches or 50 mil. It'll actually drop these bell cranks here, drop them down all together, so basically the whole lot, the flaps will come down, and you'll still be able to work them that way. So simple design, and we'll get the actuator working and I'll show you what I mean, how it works. And as you can see, fiddly little stuff that takes a bit of time to do. Freight's an issue at the moment too, trying to get freight up here. I'm waiting on bits and pieces, so that's why I'm jumping from one job to the next as well, just trying to keep busy while I'm waiting on bits and pieces. So alright, so I've just got this in here now, and you can see the bell crank moves nice and freely, turns the torque tube, and that torque tube there, so all the way up to the front. So I had to remove a bit of material here just for clearance, just to clear the actual nut and bolt, which there's still a heap of meat in there, so there's no issue. I just needed that a little bit extra. I think it's about 14 mil I actually took out in a radius and radiused it out just to give it some clearance. So that's it there. If I turn this torque tube here, and that moves that. So I will I'll set this camera up and we'll go up. I'll show you how that works. Alright, so as I actuate this actuator will push this out and lift this mixer tube and still allow full movement of your ailerons. So you can see that's coming up, still got full movement. So yeah, that's how that's going to work. Push rods on here, both sides, will go straight up. Will go straight up, out the top. They'll come out the top, there'll be a bell crank here for the flapper-ons both sides, coming through into the inside of the cabin, so the push rod will basically go straight up and down and connect to this mixer here. So nice and simple. Okay, so that's that done. All I got to do now is pull that apart, paint it so it doesn't rust, keep it sealed, and put it all back together, grease it up, and should be good to go. The only other thing I've got left to do here is the pin through here for the center control stick, and a couple of bolts for these retainers that I'll put in, and then Then I'll get the whole thing painted, put it all back together and put it all back in for final assembly. For anyone wondering what this beefy structure is right here, this is the start of the actual strut pickup. So that's the reason I've got such a really solid chromoly tube through there, is because the struts to the wings actually come down and mount on here. So there'll be a pivot point on here that will be welded in place at the strut angle, and then as I move those wings, so as I swing the wings back, it'll pivot on these. So that's why there's such a solid structure here, because I need to be able to tie it through all the way to the other side as well. And there's another view of the bell crank. You can just see it moves really nicely, and that's in the. You can also see I've started playing around with the engine mount as well. This engine here is just an old engine that I'm using just to line everything up, get your bolt holes right, and there'll be a fully rebuilt new turbo 200 horsepower engine. You've got to put your glasses on. Yeah. You've got to put your glasses on. That's it. Good boy. Yeah, that's good. When you're around the saw, you need your glasses on. Alright, so running out of time to finish it completely, but this is the center control stick. All I've got to do is weld it together, so these are just going to go in there. I'll weld that all out, weld this out. This is the bearing for the actual bottom section, goes through this tube over here on the torque tube, so that'll go through the torque tube. There'll be a bush through welded into here, and that will let it operate the controls. So you can see from here the torque tube transfers onto the second torque tube, which then in turn moves the ailerons at the back, the flaperon aileron control mixer, and then like I was showing before, the actuator here that will actuate the flap mechanism. So you can see all the sun's in the way a bit, but the pedals are in. All this is all riveted out. I've got the seat bases in. So the seat base is ready for the seats. This here, I've already cut this. This is already... So there's the center console. So as you can see, quite a wide console. So all I've got to do with this is cut out a slot for the control column to come through. I can put a boot over it to seal it all up. There'll be here, there'll just be a cover. I'll have some inspection hatches in through here and this side, just also for storage. So I'm thinking about using a hatch, like a hinge hatch. So if you like these videos, hit that like, subscribe, ring that bell, follow along on the build, and we'll catch you on the next one.